Hi there everyone, Issei Hyodo here. My new existence as a demon began back in spring, and now it's already summer. Time sure does fly, huh? I was currently taking a bath while I clutched my nose in vain to attempt to stop the blood from spurting out from my nasal cavities. Oh, Azia, you have such beautiful skin. I'm envious. Not at all. Yours is paler and has such a nice texture, President. Oh, that's kind of you to say. The red-haired and blonde beauty was sitting in front of me enjoying a light conversation as they lathered the bodies in soap before my very eyes. That's right, the present Azia were both naked. They were sitting right there, two gorgeous young women. Was this paradise on Earth? A utopia? Faced with my dream scenario, I felt like I could start bawling my eyes out at any moment. Actually, I was already weeping. I couldn't have been happier. A bath scene. I had recently learned God had died a while ago, but was that really true? I mean, this certainly felt like a reward from heaven. Or rather, in my case, a boon from the Demon King, maybe. Then again, the Demon King was the Prez's brother. Jumping back a bit, I had made my way to the bathroom as usual when I had bumped into a naked Azia. Naturally, I apologized and prepared to leave when... Are you taking a bath too, Issei? Oh, and Azia as well? Suddenly, Rias had appeared by the entrance, also ready to wash. We'll both have to wait if we take turns, so why don't we all go in together? She suggested. I was floored. That was how the three of us ended up taking a bath together. Typically, the situation would be entirely out of the question. However, neither the Prez nor Azia seemed the slightest bit embarrassed at seeing me nude. Thus, by some miracle, I found myself in the Garden of Delights. Faced with such delectable eye candy, I, the flesh and blood embodiment of a perverted lust, was completely lost. I was trying my best not to stare at Ria's and Azia's direction, but damn, I really wanted to. Seriously, I wanted to devour that sight, burn it into my retinas, and store it to use as fuel for my wild fantasies in the middle of the night. Unfortunately, if I did, I would certainly break out into a massive nosebleed, and the bathwater would end up dyed crimson. I didn't want the situation to end so awkwardly. Still, I had to breathe in this sight for as long as possible. Directly gazing upon Rias and Azia might be too much, but basking in the environment was electrifying enough. I wanted us to remain this way for as long as we could, because this was a rare and unusual opportunity. Just listening to the two beautiful girls chat with each other was incredible. And so I sat in the bath staring up at the ceiling, my thoughts running circles around me. My whirling thoughts came to an abrupt halt when something dropped into the water. A weight pressed on my body, and an incredibly soft touch stimulated my skin. Petrified with trepidation, I looked down and saw the Prez was leaning right over me. Whoa, I'm in the tub with a girl? Heck, we're all in this huddling together. You know, I wanted to bathe with you like this for a while, Issei. Wearing nothing but a grin, the Prez pushed herself close to me. A flowery scent wafted from the Prez's webbed crimson hair. The skin-on-skin interaction was too arousing. My mind was racing, all but dancing in excitement. I can't keep up with this. Issei, do you not like soaking with me? The Prez asked. Of course I do. I love it. It's awesome. However, it was just as much the case as my body couldn't endure all this. I was ferociously elated, but if things continued at this pace, I would die of blood loss. No, wait. Wasn't that the secret desire of all men? Out of the corner of my eye, I could see that Azia was still busy washing herself. From time to time, though, she would send me sharp looks. Azia, are you angry? I'm glad to hear that. I want to do this with you every day, Issei. The Prez whispered, sliding even closer. Whoa. A small trickle of blood ran down from my nose. At this rate, I wouldn't be able to hold it in. Sadly, it looks like your body might have trouble keeping up, so indulging in this regularly might be out of the question. How about once every 3 days? Or every 5 days, maybe? Once a week wouldn't be enough for me. The Prez is trying to rewrite my schedule. How wonderfully selfish of her. Thank you. Sadly, I couldn't afford to get too bold with Ozzy in the same room. Given my perverted nature, if I was able to work up the courage, I might end up... Do you want to throw yourself on me? Inquired the Prez, as if reading my mind. She'd always been good at telling what I was thinking. If Azia hadn't interrupted, I suppose you might have already thrown yourself on me while we were alone. She cooed. A splash sound came as something leaped into the bathtub with tremendous force. What? Something grabbed onto me. I knew the soft feeling. I glanced to the side and saw Azia clinging to my body. I don't like being left out. I want to take a bath with you. Azia? What an audacious thing to say. Two young women were both embracing me in the bathtub. The Prez's face turned stern, clouding over as she lifted an eyebrow in displeasure. Now hold on there, Azia. Given the situation, I'm going to say this clearly. Issei is mine. He's a member of my familia. He's my servant. Do you understand? Right, I thought. I was the Prez's servant. Little different from a pet. She was undeniably acting rather forward with someone she regarded as a plaything, but perhaps all demon women were so daring. More than anything, Rias hated when other people touched her belongings. The Prez had told me that while she may pretend to remain unfazed if other demons touched me, she still couldn't stand it. That was especially true when the instigator was a female demon. I was probably one of Rias's most prized possessions, the star of her collection. Maybe because of my rare abilities, she wanted to treat me with care. Yet, I wasn't some object to the Prez, and her affection for me clearly went beyond what you would have for a cat or a dog. Maybe that was my imagination talking, though. My head was filled with perverse thoughts, so I probably wasn't seeing things straight. That may be true, but he's my Issei too. Azia liked to dote on me as well. For example, there have been a few times where I laid down for a nap and woke up to find her resting next to me. When I roused her and told her to sleep in her own room, she asked me, in a sleepy, fawning voice, to carry her there. I thought I was gonna die of sweetness. Obviously, I did exactly as she asked. It wasn't all tender moments, though. All I had to do was talk to any other woman, and she'd puff out her cheeks with displeasure. I guess Ozzy was afraid of someone taking her brother figure away. She was acting like a younger sister often did in anime or manga. Unfortunately, this left it difficult for me to get into a romantic relationship with her. I'd make it my mission to protect, so I shouldn't have been hoping for that sort of development anyway. Just having Azia fawn over me was enough. Being spoiled by a beautiful blonde was exquisite. The President narrowed her eyes at Azia's declaration. Riaz, you're scaring me. You two are getting along so well just a second ago, and now you both are ready to go to war? My home small bathtub was quickly becoming a battlefield. Azia, you always want to be with Issei, so why can't you leave him with me now? I am only able to relax when I'm with him. He helps me unwind after my daily toil. The press gently tried to pull Ozzy away from me, but Ozzy refused to cede any ground. Whoa, her breasts are so soft. Ozzy, No. The truth is, I'm holding myself back. I want to be with Issei more too. Azia shook her head back and forth, squeezing me even tighter with her embrace. Make up your minds. I'm gonna bleed out. Azia stared my way, her eyes glistening as if to entreat me. Don't look at me like that. It's only gonna make me want to protect you even more. The Prez remained silent, but her eyes betrayed irritation. Then, all of a sudden, she took my hand and she placed it on her breasts. My fingers wrapped around that incredible softness. Entirely on its own accord, my hand was caressing Rias's flesh. But she didn't complain. Have you ever done this with Issei, Azia? He and I are already at the level where we can both enjoy each other's company. Naked. The Prez was starting to scare me. I could feel the thorns in her outwardly unamusing tone of voice that hardly distracted from the fact that I was holding her breast, her flesh and blood breast. Azia watched on, her body trembling. Her cheeks swelled as she puffed them out in an ultimate show of disapproval. Then she took my other hand and she placed it on her chest too. Azia, what a wonderful sensation. No, I can't think like that. She was becoming such an erotic young lady. It must have all been because of the Prez's and Akino's negative influence. She'd been such an innocent child. Her breast wasn't as full as the Prez's, but it had a perfectly marshmallow-like softness to it. I was impressed, truly. Issei, do you prefer mine or the President's? I admit, mine aren't as big, but I won't lose out in any other quality. Oh, Issei loves them big. He often tells me how much he loves my chest. Don't you, Issei? They were sparring with each other as I held both of their breasts. I couldn't do this anymore. It felt like something had ruptured inside my nose. That was it. Blood started spilling from my nostrils, dyeing the bathwater crimson. With so much of it seeping out of me, I could feel my consciousness waning. Hey, Issei. Issei, hold on. I was wholly satisfied. Unfortunately, my body couldn't stand it any longer. If I couldn't learn how to manage these two, I was bound to die. Was there no one who could help me? The following evening, I pedaled my bicycle through the dead of the night to my next client. It was time for demon work, and I was giving it my all. I had still been short of blood during the day. Life with the present Azia was definitely fun, but it was just too stimulating. Had I only possessed more Playboy-like powers, I would have probably been able to satisfy both of them right then and there, at the same time. However, Azia and the Prez came from entirely different worlds. Maybe what happened in the bathroom was the way of acclimating to each other as a family? If I dared to touch them sexually, that relationship might fall apart, and then I would be left with neither. I'm sure the Prez's interactions with me were meant in a master-servant kind of way, and Azia doted on me because she saw me as family, as a brother-like figure, and I couldn't lay a hand on my family members living under the same roof. I had heard from people from overseas were way more relaxed about physical contact than Japanese folk, but this was just too much. If something of this level was giving me trouble, how would I create a harem? It was my dream to become the harem king, but with things as the way they were, my goals seemed more distant than ever. Regardless, the most important thing at the moment was to focus on my work. The more I told, the higher up my social ladder I would climb. First, I had to secure my own position. I was aiming to become a high-class demon after all. While I still had to bite to my clients because I couldn't teleport using the magic circle, I was definitely getting better at my own tasks and handling my patrons. At least, I thought I was. Yo, Demon Kid, looks like we meet again. When I realized who had summoned me, I let out a sigh. My client was a dark-haired man putting on a badass character. He looked like he was in his 20s, judging by his appearance. However, he was a foreigner, so I had trouble discerning his age. Every time I saw him, he was always wearing a loose-fitting summer yukata. I suppose it had been getting warm enough lately to wear such a thing, though. He was one of those pretty boys. It was debatable, but he had an even more attractive face than Kiba, who people at school often referred to as the pensive prince. That said, the badass vibe that this guy positively reeked of was definitely different than Kiba's. Still, some girls liked rough types, and they would probably fall head over heels for this dude. He'd recently taken to summon me almost every day. I entered his apartment. I was the one he kept calling for. I didn't quite get it, but he had taken a liking to me apparently. The reason eluded me, yet he continually summoned me day after day for minor wishes. Yesterday, he sent me to buy him bread in the middle of the night. And the day after, he wanted to go fishing and had me join him at a local angling spot. And before that, I don't even want to think about it anymore. Was this really the kind of thing that someone needed to summon a demon for? Then again, we demons were in the business of granting people's wishes. It wasn't my place to complain. I would upset my master, Riaz. And if I was ever going to lift myself out of this and achieve my goal of becoming the Harem King, then I had to give him my absolute best. Hey, Demon Kid, you want to play a game? I bought a racing one this afternoon, but I don't have anyone to play against. What? This kind of thing again? I thought. I quickly stopped myself though. I couldn't gripe. Yeah, gladly. The guy was actually a pretty good client as far as packs went. He would even overpay occasionally. He started giving out expensive looking paintings, then jewels, then solid gold nuggets. Even the prez had been surprised. Thanks to him, my reputation was on the way up. That much was certainly something to be grateful for. All I had to do was a little light work, and I would be one step closer to a boudoir of beautiful babes. My client set up the game. Now that I had thought of it, he hadn't given me his name yet. He was basically a regular at this point, so it only seemed right to know what to call him. Alright, we're ready. Japan's a pretty cool country, huh? Lots of things here to pass the time. Here, take a controller. Ah, thanks. Just so you know, I'm pretty good at this kind of game. Oh, let's see what you got then. I'm a beginner, so take it easy on me. Yeah, I was an ace at racing games. I was known as the top speed legend Issei, a prodigy who had smashed all the records in my town. I was excited to show my client the skills I had honed, and so we took off from the starting line. After a few matches, however, things started to go awry. At first, I had an overwhelming advantage, but after a few rounds, I think I got the hang of it. I'm gonna overtake you. I thought he was talking smack, but then... Whoa, seriously? His car sped past mine with ease. How? I couldn't believe it. I had just lost to a newbie. He flew past the goal. The guy had mastered the game in record time. Look like I won, Demon Kid. It's not over. Oh, you're getting into it, huh? Want to have another race then, Demon Kid? Or should I say, Red Dragon Emperor? Huh? What did he just call me? Those words, the moment I heard them, a wave of cold fear coursed through my body. Who is this guy? How does he know that? He's just a human, right? I swallowed hard and nervously asked, "Who are you?" The corners of the man's mouth curled up in amusement as he stared at the screen. Azazel. I'm the head of the fallen angels. Nice to meet you, Mr. Red Dragon Emperor Issei Hyodo. The man's car shot past mine, which had come to a stop at a good distance from the goal before speeding to victory. At that moment, 12 jet black wings burst out of his back,